Grace to you and peace from God who is, who was, and who is to come. Amen. So, a couple of weeks ago, we had an open house here at Trinity. I don't know how many of you, either those present or those of you watching online, were able to make it here. We did that because we wanted to give all of you a first-on, hands-on, so to speak, chance to show off everything that has been done here at our facility over the past 14 months, as well as, in my opinion, to show you all how nice things look. We put a new sprinkler system in the second floor where the preschool meets. And related to that, we installed a couple of security doors so that only those folks who need to be in the preschool area when school is in session can get in. We gave the classrooms a fresh coat of paint as well. We totally replaced the restrooms right down here by the library. And I will say, as a self-identified connoisseur of public restrooms, these are really nice restrooms. We freshened up the library also, new paint, new carpet, and when it finally arrives, unfortunately not till this fall, but it'll be receiving some new furniture. And because on Sunday mornings the library will now be our child care center, we have a restroom in the library that is only accessible through the library. And since that's one of the main areas that we will use for wedding preparation as well, the people who will be using that room to change their clothes don't have to go traipsing down the hallway to get to our nice new bathrooms. They have their very own nice new bathroom. And I have to add, I believe that our library folks have done a really bang-up job in boxing up and then unboxing and sorting and purging all of the books in the library, books which, by the way, cover not only religion, faith, and theology, but we have an extensive collection of fiction and children books and other material. I recommend you go check it out sometime. But of course, the area that received the greatest amount of change was our entryway. The entryway to the building and out here in the narthex and gathering space. We added an extra set of doors, thereby creating an airlock to keep the cold air out in the winter and, as of right now, the hot air out during the summer. We put down new flooring, new flooring and a fresh coat of paint throughout the gathering space. We removed some of the brick wall that separated the narthex from the gathering space, and just to make sure that you all know what I'm talking about when I'm using some of these terms, gathering space and narthex and nave. The gathering space is this area that's between this sanctuary and fellowship hall. The narthex is that area that's out back where you come into the building through the big white wooden doors, and then this area here where we are right now, this is called the nave. We removed, out in the narthex area, we removed a closet and a stairwell that went up to the balcony. And what I really like that we did is that we installed these great windows out in the wall here at the back of the nave that allows the folks in the narthex to look in and see what's going on, and allows us up front to look out and watch the ushers as they goof off. I mean, watch as new people come into the worship area. And then, due more, though, to the quarantine rather than the renovations, we have added new screens and cameras and sound equipment here in the nave and over in Fellowship Hall as well. So that a lot of what has transpired over the past 14 months, though, they were changes that had originally been proposed and discussed for the renovations that happened in 1999 to 2002, which is when we built our current Fellowship Hall. Now, those changes back then, 20 years ago, they passed on doing a lot of the changes that we just did, in part because of financial reasons. Now, I know that there are a lot of us who are very much in favor of all of these renovations. I know that there were those of us who felt that well, they themselves might not think that we needed to do these renovations, but they trusted those of us who said, yes, we could really benefit from this, and so there were those of us who voted yes anyway. I also understand that there are those of us who did not feel we needed to do these renovations at all, and didn't agree with them, and I'm just saying, you don't have to agree with me about these renovations. My hope about these renovations is, though, that regardless how you feel about them or how you might have voted, you will look at these renovations and at the very least say, you know what, it looks okay, it's acceptable. But for me personally, to see these renovations, it makes me feel positive about this place, positive about serving here, positive about working with all of you. The thing is, though, that all of these changes, these renovations to our facility here, to me, they're along the lines of what Paul was talking about in his letter to the Corinthians when he said in verse 16, even though our outer nature is wasting away, our inner nature is being renewed day by day. And why I'm reminded of that is because when I look at that verse, I hear it mean that the physical will change. The outer will grow old. The tangible things that are made by human hands will, as Paul puts it, waste away. But the things that come from God, faith and belief, they're not visible. They're not visible in and of themselves. You can't see faith. You can't physically touch belief. We can see the end results of faith when we see someone helping another person in need and they themselves are not going to benefit in any way. And you ask them why they're doing whatever it is that they're doing. They respond, because my faith calls me to do this. We can see faith in action. We can see the end result of belief, but we cannot see faith or belief itself. Because we look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. Or, as Eugene Peterson put it in when he translated the Bible in the version called The Message. So we're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside it often looks like things are falling apart on us, on the inside, where God is making new life, not a day goes by without God's unfolding grace. These hard times are small potatoes compared to the coming good times, the lavish celebration prepared for us. There's far more here than meets the eye. The things we see now are here today, gone tomorrow, but the things we cannot see now will last forever. Now, as much as I like all of these renovations, I know that they are, realistically, in the long term, temporary. I know that the church is more than a building. The church is the people, the members, you and me. I also know that the time will come, hopefully not for a few decades, but the time will come when the congregation will look at our physical plant and say, you know, we really could stand to make some changes. Maybe help the flow of worship, ease the way that we use this place. And you know what? That'll be okay. The things we see now are here today and gone tomorrow. Paul is talking about faith. Paul is talking about that which is not built with human hands. Paul is talking about that which will not fade or decay or get worn out. Paul is writing about that which will outlast this finite, mortal world. Together, you and we are the church. And our church is not a building. It's not a building made with hands. Rather, our church, this church, the church, is built by faith, given by God, and that will endure eternally.